extraordinaire, the GMologist.
Hello everyone and welcome to the GMologist Presents. In this episode, it is all Amy most of the time. She joined me at Chupacabracon this weekend, and we're going to give you like a roving reporter live action rundown. We did games day by day, like a wrap up, some snippets here and there. We did a few interviews, among them Stefan Surratt. Stefan Surratt is the owner of Dragon Peak Games, and he does a lot of product for Dungeon Crawl Classics and Mutant Crawl Classics. We also interviewed Eric Babin of 4GM. It's a group that I'm a part of. He talks about the 3 tenets of their GMing ship, and I think it's pretty cool. It's a good conversation. And then Amy interviewed a person who we've seen at this con a lot, and it was great to interview her. Her name is Cassidy. We played in games with her last year, this year, the year before. She runs games and plays games, and Amy got to interview her just as a participant, random participant at Chupacabracon who goes there quite often. So sit back, enjoy. I may jump in here and there with things to clarify, but maybe not. We'll see. We'll see how they sound. Okay, on with the show. Chupacabracon. We went, oh no, to San Marcos. Went up there to play some RPG games in San Marcos, north of San Antonio, Texas.
Well, hello, fellow GMologites. It is your roving reporter, Amy, here, along with the GMologist, and we are on our way to Chupacabracon. We are ready to go. Carl has already done all of his prep work, right?
Yes.
He did his prep work, and I did mine. Because I don't know if anybody else is like this, but when you're going to a gaming convention, you need your focus on the games. So I prepped. The crock pot is going with us. I've got meals prepared, sandwiches ready, drinks, you name it, I'm ready to go, because one must always be the hostess with the mostest, even when you're on the road. How do you feel about that, Carl?
I think it's good. It'll save us money, and more importantly, we won't have to try to... I mean, the place is nice and everything is internal, but that's the issue. It's kind of far to go to find some... Not far, but far-ish to go for food, and I'd rather stay around the convention and meet people and talk with people and look at the vendor places and all that kind of stuff. So it's better to have food there in the hotel. We go up to the room. I mean, it is called Embassy Suite, so they got, you know, the setup for that. So yeah, it should be pretty cool.
And I don't want to toot my own horn, but I think the food that I can produce is better than what the hotel has.
Well, definitely better than the hotel. Not to blast the hotel, it's a very nice spot, but the kitchen is not great for lunch and dinner, although breakfast was pretty cool last time. So
breakfast is great.
Hard to mess up breakfast, but you know.
And can't beat that happy hour.
It's all right. No craft beer in the happy hour. It's kind of, you know.
No, but we can have our gin and
beer.
tonic or a nice glass of wine, which I know is sacrilege to you.
Yeah.
But hey, can have whatever you want with little snacks, and I think it's very nice of them. And what's even better is I got to check in on the app last night, so we know our room number. All we have to do is stop by, pick up the key, and go.
Yep. So it should be pretty good.
So for right now, this is Amy the roving reporter, checking out of San Antonio, heading to San Marcos, and when we get to the exciting con, I'll check in with you later. Well, hello again, fellow GMologists. This is your roving reporter. We are here at the Chupacabracon, and we have checked into our room. It's wonderful. We're at the Embassy Suite San Marcos. Got the crock pot going. We're ready to do sandwiches tomorrow, and we're gonna go on downstairs and start playing some games. Well, all right, I know that seemed like just a blip for you guys, but it's many hours later here, and we wrapped up our first and second game, And my first game, I got to play with the creator of a new Call of Cthulhu 1920s game that's coming out. It was a lot of fun, and I think we almost messed him up because we all figured out there were going to be big bads on this boat. So we were just going to scuttle it and jump on our boat and head back and collect our money for finding the boat. But then the GM seemed a little disappointed because he prepared the whole fight and we would have been done in 15 minutes. And we did do the fight, and it was a lot of fun. And I think he told us that it's in the printing stage right now in Poland, and then it'll come over here. And once it's released, we're looking at like probably 4 to 5 months. So be on the lookout for that. And I happen to have the GMologist here to tell me about the game he played in. First one of the day.
Yeah, the first game I played was Cthulhu Awakens, which is a new Cthulhu game by Green Ronin. And it was really enjoyable. It is run by a GM who's very much of a storyteller. And it's a very simple mechanic too. It's 3d6, add your bonus, which makes it for a more narrative style game. I really liked the alienation mechanic. I do feel that we should have jumped more into stunts, but the GM really wanted to keep a flow of the narrative and tell a story, which is kind of cool. So I definitely want to check out some more Cthulhu Awakens in the future. And Amy didn't tell you the name of the author, but we'll tell you his first name is Jerry in the game that he plays. So be on the lookout for that. All right, Amy?
Yes, we have to run up to the hotel room and have dinner quickly.
Yep, and then jump back to our evening games.
We'll be right back. Alrighty. Man, that was good.
Long day.
So nice to come up to the room and have a hot meal. Oh, and that happy hour, we picked up a nice beer to drink, brought it up here. Oh, it was wonderful. Now we're going to head back down. Maybe we should check out some of those tables with what they have. And we could pick up one more happy hour drink on our way to the games.
Okay.
I'm supposed to play Savage Worlds next. And what are you supposed to play?
Well, I'm not playing. I'm actually running. So I'm going to be running a Call of Cthulhu Dark Ages.
Ooh. All right. Well, we'll be right back, guys, once we find our table. I don't understand this map at all. There's no letters anywhere.
Nope.
Well, guys, I finally found my table. I didn't know it was down the hall, around the corner, inside, then around, and then, don't go past. And by the way, table 9 didn't have a number on it, but it was kind of interesting, and I was as confused as the GM and the other players. But you know what, Carl?
What?
He was so excited. He had to take a picture. It is the first time that our GM had run a game at a con for only women. And it wasn't supposed to be that way. We were supposed to have 2 male players, but they backed out. And he was so excited that he took pictures to put it on his Facebook and show his wife, because I guess she wasn't going to believe him.
All right.
But it was a great game. We had a lot of fun.
The Savage Worlds game?
It was. Evil Darkness, I think. It's supposed to be based off of the, killer clowns. And we were supposed to be going, as we were all teenagers, and we were supposed to be, because we're seniors, sleeping at this one restaurant. Billy's or Buzzy's or some
Blinkies.
clowns. Blinkies Burgers. But it closed years ago. And as we were walking up there, we got a text message saying, hey, can you look out for the 8 other kids that have been missing that went up there to sleep there? And we got there, and there's this yellow car in the parking lot up on, bricks because it had no wheels. So we decided we'd go in. I mean, there were boards on the windows and everything, and we went inside, and it seemed okay. I played a gamer, Carl. So you know what my weapon was?
What?
A D&D rule book.
Of course.
Hardback, though. I made
Nice.
sure. Anyways, so I went around the corner as if I was serving pie at a diner. And we were all getting ready to do our game, and I was supposed to throw out gaming terms that the whole time I kept talking about. Did you make your initiation roll? Did you roll?
Initiative roll?
Initiative, yeah. I'm tired.
Initiation roll.
Oh, that
Into
too.
the cult.
Oh, yeah, I was one of the only ones that had a cult. So we had a jock, and he was scared of mice. We had a psychic, and she kept getting visions of things. We had a sorority girl, well, basically the party girl in the group, and I played a gamer. And
That's funny.
it was a lot of fun, and I'll just say we came up against not one, but 2 clowns. And one of the clowns had razor blades on his head. It was kind of interesting. But the long story short, the car that had no wheels slammed into the front, and that started a whole bunch of things going wrong. And then we had to go into a basement, but we had to go through the freezer to get into the basement. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. We all survived. Sort of.
Yeah. I was kind of disappointed that there were no deaths in my Call of Cthulhu Dark Ages game. So I ran a game that I ran, like I mentioned in the previous podcast, a weekend with good friends. I ran a variation of The Hunt from the Call of Cthulhu Dark Ages. So I'm not going to talk a lot about it, but I did set it in Eastern Mercia, so Danelaw-controlled Mercia, circa 900, about a year after Alfred the Great died, and there's contestation or contest for who's going to succeed him. But a lot of Guthrum, at least in the southern part of the Danelaw, converted to Christianity, got baptized and everything, part of the treaty between Alfred and Guthrum, and this is sort of in the aftermath. And it was pretty fun. We had a really good mix, 5 players, and they survived. Some went temporarily insane, but no indefinite insanities, and no deaths because my luck left me. My rolls got horrible for the big bad at the end of the game, and although the players almost got killed by almost like a quote-unquote a random encounter in the woods with bandits, which was kind of funny, but then the luck changed. Probably after one of the players gave me a glass of wine. All right. Oh, I was going to mention a couple
You don't drink wine.
I know, I don't drink wine, but he offered. I thought it was like grape juice. Like, oh no, it's the good stuff. So I did. I did what? What? I'm not yelling. No, I'm not yelling. Anyway, Amy's giving me a hard time for some reason. I've only had 1.5 glasses of wine. All right, so I did buy something at one of the vendor tables.
I only had a gin and tonic.
I know. I did buy something at one of the vendor tables. They had Mutant Crawl Classics, the soft cover, for $10. So
that's a mighty thick book.
Yeah, I picked it up. So it's kind of nice that they had that. I didn't really get anything else. Oh, the other thing I was going to mention, in my Cthulhu Awakens game, for some reason, I keep running or playing in scenarios with the Yellow King and Carcosa. So I don't know if that means anything, but do you know the King in Yellow, I guess?
I don't know. That sounds like a nursery rhyme. Do you know the baker? The baker? No. Or the Yellow King?
Or the Yellow King.
Anyways, guys, well, I'll cheers you with my coffee.
Up early tomorrow. We got 3 games. I think we're actually playing all the same games together, or I'm running one, but...
Well, our first game is The Walking Dead, and at this rate, we might be The Walking Dead.
We might be.
But we've got to hit that breakfast, the bacon and the eggs, the handmade omelets.
The Texas waffles. The waffles that look like the state of Texas. There you go.
That's a lot of fun, and I will say, they say things are bigger in Texas, and that's a huge breakfast buffet.
Yep.
Oh, that's my worst nightmare, but all the fruit's good. Yep. Anyways, guys, we're going to sign off here, and we're going to have some fun things going on tomorrow.
Yep, maybe some interviews for some creators. That'd be kind of cool if we can pin them down. There's quite a few here, so we'll talk to you guys later.
Alrighty, have a great night, guys. Good night, and...
Good rolling.
Good morning, fellow GMologists.
Good morning, San Marcos.
I wanted to say good morning and let you know that we are getting ready for a fun-filled day here in San Marcos. I do have to say I am resembling my character from the first day's game, which is The Walking Dead, and that's about what I am now. But we got a great breakfast into us. Thank you so much to the hotel for providing that, and we have plans for the whole rest of the day. So today's a 3-game day. So I think we'll have our morning hello and our good night later. So you have a great time, and we'll see you soon in our report.
Warning, you can hear the sound of forks scraping across plates. Amy and I, apologies, had to get a quick bite to eat in between games. Our midday game ran long, and, well, we wanted to record, but we also were kind of hungry. So apologies in advance for the noise. You can't hear us eating, fortunately, or at least me chewing. I don't think I chew loudly. Maybe I do. So anyway, again, apologies. Here is the midday, day 2.
Hello, hello, fellow GMologists. This is your slightly over a mid-session break. We are now at dinner break here. It's because we were having so much fun, we couldn't stop.
Yeah,
and our game might have gone a little over for the second time.
Our game went a little over.
But, Mr. GMologist, do you want to tell us what game you ran this morning?
Yes, I ran Walking Dead this morning.
And I was Walking Dead this morning, that's for sure.
Oh, yeah?
A game that goes late, and then you just can't fall asleep because you're envisioning fighting clowns and climbing over them with blades coming out of their head.
Yeah, that was your game last night, right?
Right, but clowns are always evil to me. I don't know how Bozo could have ever been a clown.
Clowns are evil.
They are. But he had us throwing balls in buckets. I don't know if any of you listeners remember him, but man, WGN up in Chicago was a big thing. My parents even won tickets for my brother and I to go. We got picked, and I did not want to go up there and throw the balls.
Because Bozo's scary.
Bozo? Yeah, he's a clown. Anybody that has to put on clown face? Sorry for you clown lovers, but I am not a clown lover. Anyways, why don't you tell us about the game?
So I thought it went really well. Most of the players have not played Walking Dead. It's a free league type of game in year 0, so only 6s are a success. So, I mean, if the game could not be for you if you feel like you want to succeed all the time. But I think the players really dove into it. And I thought what was cool when we were kind of debriefing with the players after, they really enjoyed it. And I think what they did comment on is it's not really about so much the walkers and the zombies. It's about the human story and the human conflict. And not even the humans that are enemies, but the humans that you thought were your allies, and then they betray you. And I think the problem worked in really well, and the players really got into it. And it was, I think, a very satisfying conclusion to Angels of Canyon Lake.
And you thought I was going to end up playing the kid. Even though I said I would take the last player that was left, I didn't end up with the kid. And the young lady that played the kid, I think, did a fantastic job.
Yes. I think she really did. It was really great. Amy ended up playing, no surprise, the outcast, nobody type.
But I didn't pick it. They left it.
No, they left it for you.
And I tried to play it just as that character would be.
Right. Yeah, really diving into your character and going. I thought it was really good. So in the second game we played, we took we had a lunch break. Came up here for lunch.
Oh, delicious
Sandwiches.
On marble pumpernickel rye bread. Oh, it was delicious. But here's a funny joke for you guys. Well, it's not really a joke. We put the lunch meat in the little refrigerator here, and it was slightly frozen. So much like our refrigerator at home. So guess what? No cold sandwich for lunch. Heated it up a little bit, but it was delicious.
It was really good.
Like a patty melt. And Carl, I think, had kosher dill pickle chips.
Right. So, yeah, I did. They're really good. So, yeah, the game we played in the afternoon was a game run by, I'll just mention, it was run by Ben Burns, who is the owner and creator of products for New Comet Games. And we ran a game out of his most recent Kickstarter, The Caverns of Mount Fuji.
Which is still going on.
It's still going on.
Order it.
Yeah. It might, by the time this comes out, it might be done. Let's see.
Yeah, unfortunately, by the time this comes out, it will have already passed. But he's currently doing a Kickstarter. It ends May 23rd, and I think this will come out the 24th. Unfortunately, but maybe you pledged for it. I did, and it's a pretty good price for the PDF. And
even if they didn't, I would highly encourage them to pick it up.
Yeah, go check out Neat Comic Games. I think what's cool is this is a series. So the Hotel El Dorado, the El Dorado Royale Hotel or Horror at the Hotel El Dorado Royale is like the first in the series, and he's going to have a one next year that he's planning to do that takes place at the eclipse that happened this year.
And this one was Ice Caves.
Yeah, the ice caverns of Mount Fuji, and we had a really good time. I'm not going to talk too much about it, really, but it was really good, and I think probably not, in Ben's own admission, this is probably good for like a 2 to 3 session game. He kind of truncated it and smashed it into a 4-hour window to give people a preview.
But that's because we spent way too much time.
We did spend a lot of time
interrogating people,
role playing and stuff like that. But yeah, so I thought it was really fun. It's good to have Ben run and have a game, get into a game that's run by the author. That's a good thing about these small cons like Chupacabracon and others, where a lot of the creatives come and then they preview their games.
And he was a great GM. I had a lot of fun with him. He had a lot of great pictures that he took on his actual trip to Japan.
Right.
And it was a lot of fun. We could use our cell phones to look up stuff. As a matter of fact,
I thought that was cool. That was cool to do.
That was really
good
cool.
To have like a sort of that 4D role-playing game experience where you're actually looking on your cell phones. And
he was embracing using technology to distract people, to keep them on track, which I thought was really a great way to, I guess you could say, parent the gamers.
Right.
But I had a first in my life, Carla. You know what that was?
That they all picked you to win the role-playing game?
Well, yeah, they did pick me to be the winner of the best one, the played a character. But no, my character died for the first time in a con I've ever played in.
Yes.
I almost died. I got down to 1 hit point, got all the way back up, 1 hit point away from being restored, and then the hag took me down.
Yep.
But I could have been saved. But the poor player that was playing the doctor had such hideous rolls. I think he rolled a 96 to try and save me. But that's okay. Saved the baby.
Right.
Out of the boiling mess.
And we won the day.
And we won the day. And then we went to happy hour.
Yeah.
How could anything be worse?
And then now we're having dinner.
And we did. But you know what? For being picked for being the best role player in the game, they gave me a prize.
Yeah, Amy got a prize.
I was so excited. That's the first time that's ever happened
and
either.
The prize was nice. So
you should tell them about the prize.
So Chaosium sponsored the room, and I got to run last night in the Chaosium room as part of the Cult of Chaos, and I gave out a prize for my Today We Hunt Dragons game for Cult of Cthulhu Dark Ages, and Ben gave he asked the table who voted. I recused myself from voting. Well, I voted for someone else, not for Amy, because that's kind of cheating.
But I voted for Cassidy.
Yeah, but the other people at the table, the majority voted for Amy's character to win, so she got the prize, which is really nice.
You should tell them about the prize, because it's solo?
It's part of the Alone Against series that Chaosium puts out. So Amy picked Alone Against the Static, which is a modern-day solo adventure, which is kind of cool.
We might have to put that on YouTube.
Yeah, Amy's going to play solo and have her own podcast.
You know what?
Jason, you predicted it. Jason Connerly, you predicted it.
He probably did. He knows me really well. But here's the thing. I don't have to make a character because there's still pre-gens, 2 to pick from. So I guess it's down to 2. I have a 50-50 chance of playing a man or a 50-50 chance to playing a woman.
So I think how it's like you play either the male or the female character, and then the other one is an NPC, like a sidekick or something. But we'll see. It'll be kind of cool to check it out.
That'll be so much fun. So you know what, guys? We are going to scarf dinner, finish happy hour, and race to the next game. So we will talk to you.
Wait. I wanted to tell you what these 2 products were that we just mentioned. The first was Alone against the Static by B.W. Holland. That's the solo adventure that Amy won as a prize for best role player at the table, even though her character died. I don't know if that... Come on.
But you know what? This is the first time I died, and I died for a great cause.
Yes. And then the other product I mentioned was the Horror at El Dorado Royale by Ben Burns. Go check it out. It's pretty inexpensive on drive-thru, but you can also get the print copy on drive-thru as well, which is kind of neat. So, so now we got one more game, and we have to finish our food relatively quickly and get back down to our game. Savage Worlds tonight.
Well, Nostrovia, and we'll talk to you later. Good evening, fellow GMologists. Just a quick pop in to tell you that we finished our last game. We definitely survived. Well, depends on your definition of survive. We didn't die. Anyways, we played a really wonderful game of Savage Worlds. It was a lot of fun. You could say it was a fantasy type of background where I played a warrior, Carl played a druid with a pet eagle, we had a rogue, a mage, a ranger, and a paladin. Man, I want to play a paladin. Maybe I should have picked the paladin. Nah, I was happy with the warrior. Anyways, I played a warrior that I had to say every time I possibly could that I was known for my remarkable skills with my sword. I think I got enough in. It was kind of funny. But we had a great time with it. I had, get this, a parry of 16. It was pretty crazy. Anyways, so we started off that we were all kind of hanging out in this place that we've not really been to. We were avoiding some troubles, and so this scraggly figure was seen at night, and when he stood up, it dawned on the party, after a little bit, that he was a werewolf, and he had a whole pack of werewolves, and they needed us to go get their iron claw necklace. That was a lot of fun. So we battled our way down there, we traveled, we had to get through this cave and find this necklace, and we had a lot of fun doing that. Did you have a lot of fun, Carl?
Yeah, it was pretty cool. So the difference in this game is that we were playing legendary characters in Savage Worlds, so we had a lot of abilities, a lot of power, basically, and it's just, it's weird jumping into it and trying to play, because there's a lot of edges that these player characters have that we've not played with before, but it made for longer fights, really, but I think the fights were pretty fun.
Oh, that was a lot of fun. That paladin had, well, I had First Strike, which was a lot of fun. I've never played a warrior like that at 16th level in this game. And then I had a lot of other fun powers, but the paladin had, what was that called, where he could improve counter strike, and he was just killing things right and left, and it was a lot of fun. What he couldn't get, my character got. We were joking. He really played up his character because he kept talking about, oh, that one's evil, and here, you got to do that. So he kept, looting bodies and giving him the money, and he had I think it was Rogue, cleaning his armor, but he was definitely not being trained to be a knight. But Carl, you want to tell him about the last fight down in the depths in the cave, and these rock creatures, we were blowing them up, and all of a sudden this huge rock, how big was he?
Like 40 feet tall?
Like 40 feet tall rock. I don't even know how he had arms. I'd have to envision little tiny arms like a T-Rex, but I don't know. Anyways, he came out to attack us, and so the battle was raging, and we were throwing everything at him, and Carl threw a lightning bolt, but what happened, Carl, when you threw your lightning bolt?
There's a mechanic where when the GM has bennies, anyone who has a benny, and the GM had lots of bennies, try saving him for the boss fight.
was able to mitigate the wounds with soak. So what it boiled down to is like when we finally closed and had the creature surrounded, it was its turn. But there was some really good luck in the roll. So you deal cards in Savage Worlds, and the Paladin had gotten a Joker, and I think the Rogue got a Joker at one point too. So then it came like down to this creature. There was 3 of us in melee with it, and it was going to sweep, and then it rolls the dreaded double 1, which you can't use a Benny to mitigate.
A critical failure.
Yeah, critical failure on the sweep. So the GM ruled that...
a 1/1.
Yeah, that ruled that the thing kind of slipped oddly as an elemental and fell on the ground, the irony. And then we kind of pounded on it and destroyed it. And then he kind of wrapped up and summarized. I think another cool thing my druid was able to do, so there's a shape change ability, and my druid was able to turn into a drake and breathe fire. And I think he crunked an ogre that we were fighting, like just with his bite, and kind of bit him in half. Did a lot of damage. It was pretty neat. So yeah, it was really fun playing just high level characters in Savage Worlds.
That was a lot of fun. And I think the closing game and the GM rolls a 1 on a 6 and a 1, and I think that was a D12 that he rolled it on.
Yeah, it was crazy.
Or it might have even, no,
it was a D12.
I thought it was a D12, to the point where the Paladin had to take the picture because that almost never happens. So we're going to wrap up there. We're going to say good night and good rolling. Yep. And we'll see you in the morning. Sleep tight. Don't let the bed ogres bite.
Okay, day 3 was a mishmash of things, so I will play some day 3 stuff, but before that I'm going to play a short interview with Cassidy that Amy did, and then I'll play some day 3, the first day 3 one, and then the interviews that we did with Stefan Surratt and Eric Babin, and then the final wrap-up. So yeah, I think, I don't know if it's necessary for me to come back after that. We will talk to you later. The intro and outro music is by TJ Drennan. My wife Amy does the cover clip art, but this time it's going to be the Chupacabracon 10 logo. And I think that's about it. Thank you all the people who agreed to be interviewed, Cassidy and Stefan and Eric. And I look forward to talking at you guys again. This has been the GMologist Presents. Shoot me a line, gmologist@gmail.com. Hit me up on the Discord, send me a voice message. You can do that on SpeakPipe. It's in the show notes. And with that, I will say good night and good rolling, but I'm sure we say it a few times before then. Thank you so much, Amy, for joining me at Chupacabracon, and I hope you enjoyed the roving reporter and me in the background. All right. Here's day 3.
So welcome, GMologist. This is your roving reporter, Amy, here with Cassidy
Frazee.
And we are at Chupacabracon. And Cassidy, how did the con go for you this year?
So far, it has been wonderful. I have run 2 games. I have played 3 games, and I've had a marvelous time.
And what was your favorite game to run at this con?
So far, it has been Eclipse Phase, because I have been wanting to run that game, which is a science fiction game of transhumanism, since 2011, and yesterday was the first time I got to run it.
So that tells me dreams do come true other than just in Disney World. And what was your favorite game to play in? And I do have to put a little caveat in there. I really enjoy playing with you in one of the games, but...
I did enjoy playing Ice Caves of Mount Fuji, which we played yesterday, and I played with Amy Lee here, and I had a great time. It was a fantastic game. I got maimed. I almost got killed. It was wonderful.
That's the game I died in. So you beat me to dying. Well, I wish you luck, and I will talk to you later. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Alrighty, good night and good rolling. Well, fellow GMologists, this is your roving reporter here with you at the final wrap-up day at Chupacon. Chupacabracon. Gotta do the Cabacon. Anyways, we had a lot of fun. We are looking forward to our last game, and then we're gonna hit the road and travel all the way back home. I made that pretty extreme, but it's only like an hour. Anyways, I get to have my final game playing Pirate Bork, so I made it. I get to go ravage and pillage. And Carl, what are you doing for your last game?
As you can tell, Amy's like the Texas pirate. Are you mighty?
You know.
Anyway, I am running a game this morning. I'm running a game of Savage World Savage Supers. And I'm running a scenario I've run before, like I spoke of last week. I'm running Monster Squad and the Patient Zero, or Monster Squad does Vegas. It's a Patient Zero scenario. It's a pretty cool scenario. So imagine Suicide Squad in Vegas having to save the world. And that's what the Monster Squad is tasked to do. So it should really be fun. I have a full table, so we'll see how it goes.
That is so cool. And didn't you get a new book?
I got a few new books, actually.
Can't really do an unboxing on them because we already unboxed them.
Well, they weren't in a box.
They probably came in a box, and then the people at the tables unboxed them. But we weren't there to record it. So you'll have to tell them about the book you got.
Which one?
Well,
I thought I mentioned it already. Anyway, I've not bought a lot. Mutant Qual Classics softcover. I got the Horror at the El Dorado Royale. And then, but I think I talked about that last night. It's a prequel to the game that we played yesterday afternoon. And then Amy actually won something.
yesterday we talked about that.
Well, there you go.
So I guess we'll say good night, but really, good morning.
Good morning and good morning.
And good rolling. And
Have
we'll
a great day.
see you shortly for you and in a bit for us. Stay tuned. Well, hello, fellow GMologists. I am sitting here with the one, the only Stefan here at Chupacabracon. How are you doing today?
Hey, Amy, I'm doing all right.
I'm wondering, how has the con been going for you?
Great. I got a play in a game Friday night. I ran one yesterday morning, about to run one right now. It's Sunday morning. But yesterday, people kept on going, hey, I don't know about DCC, because I'm helping run the Goodman Games booth here. And I just started going, well, hey, show up at 8 p.m. I'll run a game for you. I didn't have any plans for what I was going to run at the time.
Those are the best games.
Yeah, and I had to stay at the booth for a while, so all the character sheets were made out of notebook paper that I had available. So everyone got a custom character sheet. And so I was getting ready for that, and then about 3:30, some other folks were going, I wish I had a game to play in. So then I just decided right then, I'm going to do another game. So at round 4, I ran a 8th level DCC, which is 8 out of 10 levels in that game. So it was wild. And in the end, they banished a god from the world and essentially ended a religion. I mean, it was a Chaos Titan god, so, it's probably better for the world as a whole.
Well, I don't know. Loki might disagree, but he's not in the DCC.
No, this was Kodixstat, a chaotic titan who prefers his enemies chopped up into 9 pieces, like happened to him once.
That's exciting. Well, as a GM, let me ask you one question, because it's the burning question on everybody's mind. When you have to do a pickup game, literally as the GM too, what goes through your mind?
What can I run that I already know? So I said, yes, I'll do it. And I started looking at the front of the booth and going, okay, which of these modules can I run that I like? I can just skim and pick back up. And what can I, make sure I have a character sheet for? I ended up running one of my modules at 8 p.m. for the folks who had never played DZC before. 'Cause I've been on the show a time or two. I've published a couple things. So I ran my the Blood Rose Curse, which is my what if Beauty never came back and found Beast, and Beast slowly went insane and stalks the woods, and his manor has turned into a very, very haunted kind of place. So I wrote that one. I've ran it like 7 or 8 times already. So I was like, I don't really need a prep for this adventure. I can make that easy on me.
You guys need to go and find the module, run that one. So the last burning question. If it came down to it, would you sign up to run games without anything planned and do that again? Because it seems like that turned out really well.
Yeah, each time I had a great time. Scheduling, I would have to put a name down. I don't think you have to be a big name to just be able to put like Mike's super secret mystery game. People aren't going to get that excited for it, so you got to pick something. Maybe it's a fake title, and I've heard of people doing that, just putting a title and they're like, I don't know what that is yet, but I scheduled this game 3 months in advance. I've got time to figure it out.
Yeah, you only need 5 minutes.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Stefan. I know you're running off to a game right now, but I hope you had a great time here at Chupacabracon, and I will say, if you have anything else to say,
call the GMologist. He'll tell you what to say.
He'll say good night and good rolling. Welcome back, fellow GMologists. I am here with Eric, and he is the representative of Forward GM, and he's a partner of ours. And how you doing, Eric?
I'm great. How you doing, Amy?
I am having a great time. It's the end of the con. I have played myself to the edge, but I'm not done yet.
We're not done? We're done. I think we're done.
Well, we're done playing at the
Carl's
con.
here too, by the way.
I got one more.
Okay.
But after that, that's it. You
still got to drive back up to where you're from?
Yep. Game ends at 6. I'll be driving back to Dallas at that point.
Oh, man.
Getting back at 11 or something tonight, something like that. Be all right.
Yeah, just in time to run a game at home.
Yeah. Well, actually, I'm having a bit of a marathon of games. So, had my 2 weekly sessions Wednesday, Thursday. Came to the con Friday. Played 8 games here. They've all been great. I've really enjoyed my time at Chupacabracon. Tomorrow, we're having a bit of an informal game day at my house. I'm off all this week. I took PTO.
Oh, nice.
And then next weekend, there's another con, Board Game Geek Spring Con. This is our first time going there. They'll have RPGs. They're bringing in GMs. It's a really cool situation. Yeah. So we got a whole bunch of games to knock out next weekend, too. This is kind of my 2024 RPG mecca this week.
Oh, nice.
You are going to have to roll for your constitution at that point in time. So let me ask you this question. What was your favorite game to run this con?
It's got to be the Pirate Borg Saga. So we run sagas as Forward RPG, which is what we call our multi-table RPG events. They have multi-table mechanics that link the tables together, but each table is kind of its own thing. It's got its own GM and players, and they tell their own story, but there are ways that the players can potentially travel to another table depending on what the specific mechanics of that saga are. We've done a bunch of sagas. Pirate Borg is our latest. The night before we ran a Delta Green saga, which was also brand new. We've written sagas using Star Trek Adventures, Avatar Legends, and the Fantasy Flight Star Wars games. That's kind of where they got their start, was with Edge of the Empire, Age of Rebellion, games like that.
Oh, nice.
That is so exciting.
Yeah.
So the next tricky question, what was your favorite game to play in at this con?
Oh, you're going to make me get in trouble. What was my favorite game to play?
Yeah, for all 20 of our listeners.
It's always the small listener ones that get you, though. I think my favorite game to play at the con was Cohorts Cthulhu, which is
I like Cohorts.
Is that the Octoon Cthulhu?
Yeah, the prequel to Octoon Cthulhu, which is kind of that Weird War II kind of game.
Yeah.
This is a Weird War, but you're in late Empire Rome. It was a super cool experience. I played a Germanic priest who was good at talking to people and not much else.
Yeah.
And it was a really good time.
Cool. So why do you come to Chupacabracon? I guess that's my question.
So last year, when I first met you guys, we were toying with the idea of adding some regional cons to our repertoire. We're like, we think we have a good thing going. We've got some good feedback on it. We'd like to spread our brand and our message. And Forward RPG is absolutely not about selling or publishing games. We don't have any kind of product we're pushing or anything like that. And so we wanted to kind of spread the brand, make people aware of who we are and what we do. I think one of our biggest strengths as Forward is if you're looking at a con schedule for the events and you see Forward, you kind of have an idea of what that means. Because I think that's the biggest strength D&D has, right? Is you see D&D, you have kind of an expectation of what that is. But when people are running all of these other games that they've probably never heard of or never seen, then they might be a little scared, a little hesitant to sign up for them because they don't know what the experience will be. I wanted to provide some sort of consistency to that experience. You kind of know that the GM's going to follow the tenets, and you kind of have an idea of what that experience is like.
Yeah, that's great. Yeah, and
Would
you guys
like
run.
to tell our listeners a little bit about Forward GM?
Yeah, so Forward RPG, we are a group of game masters that's all about running dope games. We've got 3 tenets. First one is we run games besides Dungeons and Dragons. Dungeons & Dragons is a great game, but it has plenty of support behind it. We want to promote all of the other more indie, small publisher games, but we'll let our GMs run anything as long as it's not D&D. Our second tenet is that we'll run for anybody, regardless of experience level. We recognize that one of the biggest problems the tabletop RPG community has had is it has a stereotype associated with it, you know? That especially at public gaming events, they've generally become old white men, you know, like there's a whole grognard stereotype our community deals with. And we want to see public gaming events become more diverse. We want to see new blood come in, younger players, as well as people of all walks of life and beings. And we want to welcome them at our table. We want them to be comfortable and we want them to have fun. Our last tenet is we believe in yes and GMing and not gotcha GMing. What that means is we don't believe that the GM is a god. We think the GM is a player that has a unique role. Now, when you're running a con game, there's a bit of a different power dynamic because the GM is a bit more of more responsible for the experience than at a home game necessarily. You're not just the friend that got handed the books and told to learn the game, right? You're also the person that's kind of responsible for making sure everyone has a good time and everyone's comfortable. And so we want to make sure our GMs are open to feedback, open to input, and really let everyone contribute so the whole game can become better. Great.
No, I think my question was similar to that, but I think maybe the last question, unless you have questions for us, I don't know if you would. But the last question is, right? You guys run a lot of games. So can you just give us like a few of the many types of games that you ran? You mentioned Pirate Borg already, and the Star Wars, etc. But
yeah,
what's the most indie game you've run?
The most indie game I've run is probably Everyone is Seagulls. It's by Grant Howitt. It's a one-page game based on a game called Everyone is John, where the main mechanic, the core resolution mechanic of the game is everyone yelling at the same time. There are no dice, there are no cards. Everyone sits at the table, and they are all a flock of seagulls, and everyone starts yelling what they want to do in a situation. If the majority of the flock yells one thing, then that's what the flock does. And some of the birds die, depending on how difficult that thing is.
Wow.
Yeah, it's kind of a race to the bottom. It's a lot of fun. It's a very loud game. I'm not going to bring it to a con, but
yeah, that's great. All right, well, do you have any questions for us, Eric?
Absolutely. So one comment I have for you guys is I wanted to say thank you for publishing your podcast on YouTube. I engage with RPG content a lot on YouTube, and I find not enough podcasts, especially in our little corner of nerddom, post to YouTube. So thank you for that. My question for you is, where do you see GMologist going in the next year, 2 years?
Where is he going? What do you mean, like, what?
Like, are you planning on doing more interview-based content? You know, like maybe bringing in some like designers or anybody like that?
Yeah, I want to. We met a lot here. I just saw one pass through there. We're definitely going to interview them. We have a con that Amy has become part of, Big Texas Comic Con.
Yeah.
And we're going to introduce gaming to that.
So that's a big thing coming up.
Starting this year, second weekend in October.
Yep, second weekend of October. Carl's in talks to bring Forward RPG out there.
Yeah.
So you guys can come play some of these dope indie
I will
games.
be there. So Forward RPG will have a presence. So
That's
I will be there.
absolutely true.
Yeah. So we got to get a schedule. Should be out of a July timeframe. But there are a lot of cons in San Antonio now. Space Con is there. There's San Japan. The Big Texas Comic Con is going to be there, and hopefully we'll add a gaming component. There's I think a board game one that's around that
Alamo
same
City
time.
Comic Con or Alamo City Game Cons out there.
Yeah. So San Antonio's getting full of cons, but hopefully people would want to come to ours. I think for the GMologist, I'm going up to North Texas RPG Con. I like that con a lot. I tried to present in my, as I run games, because I'm actually running only games up there. I'm not playing. I'm going to jump in some pickup games. There's a schedule, and then there's a off schedule at North Texas. I think something we could maybe do here, which would be kind of neat if we planned it better. We could kind of do that here too. But I'm going to just run a bunch of games and then present, as I run, the tenets of Forward RPG. So
that'd be great. I look forward to it, Carl.
Yeah, so I like it's a good con, and it plays a lot more old school games. Starting from AD&D up, but that includes not D&D, like
true.
Traveler.
It's one of the big 3 OSR cons in the country.
Yes,
and it's in Irving, Texas. If anyone's nearby.
Right. Cool.
And I know we've talked about doing a lot more demos on the YouTube channel. We've started some campaigns on the YouTube channel. We've taken one of our older ones, Twilight 2000, which just started its 3rd year, and it's now getting published on YouTube. We just finished one of the modules, so there'll be some of the heading back home adventures, perhaps some of the submarines, so you can watch Kasha and her crazy way of doing things. But I also know we have some one-shots that we'd like to do, so if
a lot of indie games, right, that we want to do. But I think something that someone told me too, and you can agree or with this or not, Eric, but like one person said, I like Amy and Carl's or the GMologist, whatever we call it, whatever people call it. They should give Amy all the credit. I'm just there to, I don't know what I'm there to do. GM, I guess. Anyway,
upload the videos, man. That's an important job.
No, she uploads the video. Amy's the producer.
You're losing your responsibilities by the second, man.
But I think what a person told us that was a great compliment. We're not voice actors. We just play the game. We show it how it runs. We try to teach mechanics and show where mechanics come out. And like the latest thing we did was Dreams and Machines, new Modifius game, and I think it turned out really well.
Horizon Dawn game, right?
Yeah, it should. Yeah, Horizon Dawn. That's exactly what one of the players said. Yeah. So that's coming up in a few weeks.
And we have Coyotes and Crows that's already come out. We had Coriolis that came out.
Coriolis is really neat. So we play a lot of games. Like, we do have a run a D&D campaign too. We're all inclusive, and then but we run a bunch of. I like to run a bunch of games because I just get GM ADD. I gotta switch around. Eric probably knows the feeling.
I identify, absolutely.
Yeah,
I get sick of systems if I play them too long.
Yeah.
So make sure you go on YouTube and look for the GMologist.
Yeah, in the show notes, I'll put the links.
And make sure that you like, subscribe, and share.
Yeah. And thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah.
For joining us. I love coming and seeing all you guys. 9
I promise
GMs.
to send not another monster to your table this weekend.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I think we had 10 GMs. Joseph here's another one of our GMs.
How's it going, Joseph?
Hey, Joseph.
So that's great. 10 GMs here at Chupacabracon. We're making it a yearly thing. So.
Yeah, we doubled our number of GMs that we had last year, which is great.
That's great. All right. Well, thank you so much, Eric.
Yeah, thanks.
And we'll see you next time.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So good night and good rolling. Hello, GMologist. This is your last recap for the exciting Chupacabracon up in San Marcos, Texas.
Chupacabracon, Amy.
I am getting corrected by the GMologist. It is
Chupacabracon.
Chupacabracon. You know, when you play enough games and you roll, I did not roll my sanity. Did you roll yours?
I think I was good with sanity.
It's good with sanity. My con's a little off. Perhaps, my intelligence might be impaired right now.
Okay.
He says okay, But anyways, I have a few questions for you, Mr. GMologist. And the first one is, what game that you were running at the con was your favorite to run?
So I think the last one I ran, which was Savage World Supers, so it was Monster Squad Does Las Vegas, and it was kind of a riff off of Suicide Squad, where these iconic monsters, and we had Angel, Demon, Mummy, Werewolf, and the Revenant, and they were tasked to save Las Vegas from a zombie apocalypse. It was really fun. I had great players. They really dove into their characters. There was an awesome interplay between Demon and Angel. I mean, imagine basically Suicide Squad, but with these iconic monsters. It was really cool. We had a great time with it. It was awesome. The Mummy was, in a way, the hero of the tale, because he blew up the extra dimensional entity, the tentacled entity with a big fireball. Did like 62 points of damage.
Woo!
So that's 8 wounds. If you kind of calculate it out after minus toughness, 8 wounds. My bad guy was out of bennies. I could not mitigate it. So
that sounds like quite a bit of a problem.
Well, I had used bennies through the whole thing, but it was awesome, and the heroes won. And I thought what was really neat is because you imagine, right? So just like in Suicide Squad, all the principals had like a brain bomb at the base of their neck, and they were able to defuse all of those bombs and get away. So I thought it was kind of cool.
Didn't the werewolf do something cool?
Yeah, the werewolf player, he figured out what was going on, just listening, and he kind of ripped out a couple of these brain bombs, and actually in one scene he kind of ripped out a brain bomb and threw it at a group of zombies and blew them up, which is kind of neat.
That's pretty fun.
Yeah, it was cool. It was a good game. I had great players. It's always the players, and I love it in a game when you can sit back and just let the players do their thing.
That was fun. I don't know if our screaming and excitement interrupted your game, but we certainly heard some cheering about Amanda.
Was it Amanda? No. Oh, they didn't. No, Amanda Waller. They didn't like her, but they were cheering when the mummy blew up the extra dimensional creature.
I totally would cheer up.
Yep.
With a zombie or a mummy. I just think it's kind of fun. And do you ever wonder if you just pull the string on the mummy and it undoes him if the bones stay intact or fall down?
I think they fall apart.
I think they would fall apart too.
It's a mummy's weakness, actually.
I don't know. You guys have to comment down below. If you take the wrapping off of a mummy, does it fall apart?
Yep.
Or does it get stronger? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of duct tape and super glue around. It is, after all, fantasy.
Well, or reality. I don't know.
Definitely not reality.
As Aldo Nova would say, life is just a fantasy.
It is just a fantasy. So, let's do our recap of the whole weekend.
I had a great time. I love Chupacabracon. It's fun. Creatives there from Chaosium, from Savage Worlds products, and I love it. It's a great time. And the great thing is it's really intimate, small, and we got to play in a game. Well, Amy got to play in a game run by two creatives, 2 authors. I played in a game, also 2 authors, but different authors. But we it was kind of neat. So you get to play in a game where people who are making products run the games, and I thought it was kind of cool.
But you know what was more exciting than that?
What was that?
Just bonding with the different gamers all around the world.
There's a lot of gamers, and we see some of these people at the same time. Like, I had gamers that have come to my games for the last 2 or 3 years, and it's like, oh, hey, I'm glad I'm in your game. So it was kind of neat to have some people that I've seen before in my game, and they love it. They keep coming back, so I must be doing something right.
I think you are. You know what I would correlate the whole weekend to?
What?
The perfect omelet.
Oh, yeah, they make good omelets there at Embassy Suites.
They do, but the right amount of egg, the right amount of veggies, gotta have the cheese, and it better be dripping out of my omelet. and bacon, maybe a sprinkling of sausage, but I think if we look at all the gamers and all the games that were there, it makes the perfect omelet. What do you think?
Yeah, a good game is akin to the perfect omelet. I would agree.
I would definitely agree. So let me ask you this. Out of the whole weekend, I know we played a lot of games. What was your favorite game as a GM to run and why?
Well, I just told you. The Savage Worlds game I just ran.
The Savage Worlds game with the supers.
Yeah, the Monster Squad does Las Vegas.
And was there such an incredible event in that game that made it stand out?
Yeah, I just told you that too. Amy,
yeah, but there's got to be more than one.
No, I told you there's a lot of good events. It was great. I loved it.
And so, as a player,
I think my favorite. So I played 3 games also. I think the play that I loved the most was late
we
night.
Apologize for the dog barking in the background. He's answering for us.
Late night on Saturday night, we got to play like a Savage Worlds games also, and it was like we played Legendary Heroes, and that was cool. That was really neat to play Legendary Heroes.
That was badass.
Right, so they have a lot of like advanced powers. My character could shape change into like a drake or a dragon.
That's because you were a druid, right?
Yes, and then like Amy's character had like this ability that if someone came into their threatened space, she could attack. So it was, and then another player character who played a paladin had improved counter strike. So if a bad guy missed them, they could attack him up to 3 different events. So it was really awesome. I mean, I like playing Legendary. It really makes me want to kind of go back and look at my catalog of games and really dive into like Savage Pathfinder or another fantasy type game where we could get up to that level. It's kind of neat.
But I would say the most memorable event of that game is when we were all about to get sideswiped by the really big bad.
I think we probably mentioned this already, but yeah.
Yeah, the GM rolled not 1, but 2 ones. And it was so funny. People at the table were taking pictures.
Cheering.
The GM was laughing. We all had a great time. So, glasses raised and cheers to all the GMs. Yep. I bet you every GM at the Chupacabracon is as exhausted as we are. But more importantly, as revered by the players as we are.
Yep. All right, so Chupacabracon was awesome. The next the next event is North Texas. So I'm going solo on that, Amy. So no roving reporter there. Apologies in advance, but I mean, we've had a request for Amy to be on the mic. So I hope you've enjoyed our snippets of Chupacabracon.
But you may have to call back in during the event.
Yeah.
So that I can rove without roving and report on the issues.
Yes, Amy will answer you if you ask her questions. All right.
I will, and you know what? Have a great night. This was a wonderful weekend, and
good night
and good rolling.
It's an orgy of game when everybody knows your name.
Vortex RPG.
The organizer and Satan are one and the same.
Vortex RPG.
And we'll all be bumping uglies playing in shows games.
Vortex RPG.
North Texas RPG Con. First weekend in June at the Westin Inn in scenic Irving, Texas. Pack those dice bags and a spare liver.
Vortex